Hello everyone, welcome back to another day of notes. Today we're going to talk about day 5, graphing linear functions. As we talked about last time, linear functions are the functions that will create a line on the graph. So when we're talking about graphing them, there are two different methods we can use. Okay, one of them we kind of already saw when we did the stained glass window, but we're just going to review it again. Okay, excuse me while I cough. So method 1 is creating a table of values and then graphing it. Okay, so step 1 would be to pick 5 random x values. You can pick whatever you want. I always stick around the numbers around 0 just to make them nice and small and easy to work with. Step 2 is to substitute each of your x values into the equation and come up with your y values, and then graph the points and draw your line. Okay, now don't forget to extend the line all the way through the entire graph and put arrows on both ends. Okay? So, for example 1, I have to graph y equals 5x plus 2. So I'm going to go ahead and create my table. And now I got to sneeze. Oh gosh. Achoo! Achoo! Excuse me. I'm so sorry, guys. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some x values, and I'm just going to fill in this table so I have my x values. So I'm going to pick -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay? I'm not going to make them super complicated. I don't need to. I like to have both positives and negatives just to see what happens throughout the whole graph, but it's up to you. Okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and plug these in, and I believe I did it off to the side here. Yeah. So I plug in -2 for x, so that means y will equal 5 times -2x plus 2. I do the math. 5 times -2 is -10 plus 2 will give me -8. Okay, then I do the next one. Plug in -1. 5 times -1 gives me -5 plus 2 gives me -3. Plug in the next one. 5 times 0 gives me 0 plus 2 gives me 2. 2. There we go. Do the next one. 5 times 1 gives me 5 plus 2 gives me 7. The next one. 5 times 2 gives me 10 plus 2 gives me 12. And that one's actually a little high, but we already have all the other ones, so we'll plot those. Okay, so right now I'm just going to plot what I have. I can plot on the grid. As long as I have 2 points on the grid, it's okay. It'd be better if I had more. So always try to have more. So I'm going to plot -2, -8, which is down here. Then -1, -3, which is right here. Next, I'm going to plot 0, 2, which when x is 0, y is 2 is right here. Then I'll plot 1, 7 right here. And my 2, 12 is going to actually be off the grid. I think I can plot it right there. No, it would be way up here. But I have enough points where I can draw my line, so I just go ahead and connect them and draw my line completely through it. Okay? And that's how you can graph it using a table. You guys are going to go ahead and try this one on your own. So create your table, plot your points, and draw your line. All right, next one. Here's another example. This one's kind of a funky example because it doesn't have a y and an x. So in this equation, y equals 8, when they just tell you one variable, they basically just told you that's the only number your variable can be. So because y has to be 8 for every single point, it doesn't really matter what the x's are, the y will always be 8. So I could pick my same x values, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2, but the y is going to be 8 no matter what, according to the equation. So I'm going to go ahead and plot these points. So -2, 8 up here. -1, 8 right here. 0, 8 right here. 1, 8 right here. 2, 8. They're all right there. So they actually all create a horizontal line. All right, just go ahead and draw that line. Okay? All right. You guys are going to try this one. It's not as funky, but you guys can get some more practice. This one does have a fraction in it. So when it has a fraction, I strongly encourage you to pick numbers that are multiples of that denominator. I really hope you're listening to this video, because if not, it's going to be really hard. Pick x values that are multiples of 4, okay? So have a couple be negative, have a couple be positive, and then you can do your multiples. You can easily always pick 0 for an x, and that would work out. But everything else, I would pick to be multiples of 4, okay? Now, second method is to identify your y-intercept, or the b, from the equation, and then graph it on the y-axis. Remember, your equation will always look like this: y equals mx plus b. Your b will be at the back end. Then, using your slope, which is this number, as rise over run, we can graph at least 2 more points on the grid, and that way we have our points. Okay, so let's look at an example. Graph the equation using the y-intercept and slope. So here we have y equals 3x. The only thing that's missing is the b part. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in. So I'm going to write a plus 0, because if I don't see it, I can just go ahead and put in that invisible number. Okay, I'm going to identify my b and my m. So the b is the number at the back, so that is actually 0. Where'd it go? I wrote 0 here, and I don't know why it's not. There it is. And then this, the slope is a number with the x, so 3 right here, that's our slope. So to graph this line, I'm going to use the y-intercept, and I'm going to plot that point first. So I go to where the y-intercept is 0, which is actually right here on the origin. And I plot that point first. Then I'm going to use the slope to travel to get to my next point. So instead of 3, I'm going to write 3 over 1. So I can have a rise over a run. So here, this is a positive 3. So I'm going to go up 3 units. Did I write that in there? I don't think I did. I went up 3 units, and then my run is a positive 1. So I'm going to go to the right 1 to plot my point. And now from that point, I can do the same thing. I can go up 3 units, 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1 to get my next point. Okay, again, I can go 1, 2, 3, and to the right to get my next point. Okay, now that I have all those points, I can go ahead and graph my line. And that's all it is. Once you found your slope and your y-intercept, you can go ahead and plot them, and then you don't have to worry about creating that table. Okay? You guys are going to try these two on your own. Give this one a try. This one might be a little troublesome for you, so try it using the same thing. When in doubt, you can always revert back to the table for this one. Okay? You can look at the example for the table if you can't figure out how to do slope and y-intercept. Alright, but go ahead and give those a try. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them next class. Other than that, I will see you guys later. Bye!